Ladies, after my first fight, I shut down on my husband for 3 days and didn't talk to him. Generally, it's usually the men that shut down versus the women, but I am going to share with you my mindset on why I shut down in hopes that it might help you understand why your husband is getting quiet. Want to feel closer and deeply connected with your spouse? Stay tuned to the end and I'll share how you can work with us. For the best marriage advice, give us a like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when we post a new video every Wednesday. Hi, my husband and I co-founded Intentional Marriages. We've led over 100 couples through an incredible marriage curriculum created by our North Point Community Church, as well as leading engaged couples through a premarital curriculum. Okay, so I'm going to share some reasons why your husband might be shutting down. When you get into a fight, your brain gives you only 3 options if you're flooded. You're either going to fight, flee, or freeze. Now, I kind of do a combination of the flee or freeze. It depends. If I can leave the argument, I will walk away. If I can't, I usually kind of freeze and don't say much. Nothing much comes to mind. So when your husband says, when you say, "What are you thinking?" and he says, "Nothing," he may really be thinking nothing. When I'm in that flooded state, really no words come to mind, which is why I don't do the verbal volley in an argument. So when your husband says he may have nothing that comes to mind, he may just be really flooded, and you both need to give each other at least 20 minutes for your brain to kind of reabsorb those stress hormones and your logical brain comes back online. Comment below, do you fight, flee, or freeze when you get into an argument? So the second thing I learned about an argument is there are 4 reactions that are so hurtful to a marriage that they call them the leading predictors of divorce. And those 4 things are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And stonewalling is the shutting down. Now, I honestly thought I was being the nice one in the argument because I wasn't saying anything mean. So when I saw this list and it said that stonewalling, shutting down, was one of the 4 leading predictors of divorce, I had no idea. I had no idea how damaging it was. So you're probably going, "Okay, thank you, Danielle. You're not telling me anything I didn't already know." Yes, when your husband shuts down, it is very damaging. When I was shutting down on Russ, it was very damaging to him because what was starting to happen is every time I would shut down, the next time he had to share something hard, he kind of like thought twice and was like, I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want her to shut down. And so he started walking on eggshells, which then built some resentment. So shutting down really does hurt the relationship. So back to why your husband is shutting down. The reason I am shutting down during this time is because Russ's tone was pretty intense, and because I can't think or verbal volley back with him, it's just easier for me to freeze and wait for him to finish. So the hardest thing for, I think, us to hear is our own tone.
When it comes across critical, and when Russ points that out to me, I'm like, I wasn't sounding critical.
But you have to be careful during those times that your tone can shut your spouse down. And so that's what it was doing to me when we are in our arguments. The intense tone just completely shut me down. Now, if he approached me and didn't have the intensity in his tone, I could stay in the conversation. So as hard as it is to hear your own tone, try to listen for it and see if it's coming across critical, defensive, or contemptuous, which contemptuous is having a condescending tone with your spouse. So I've probably not told you anything you haven't already experienced, and you're like, okay, how do we get out of this vicious cycle where we try to talk about stuff and I get louder and he gets quieter, and it infuriates you. I get it. So there's a thing called emotional safety. Now, we all know physical safety is obvious, right? There's no physical abuse going on. Well, I didn't realize that there's a thing called emotional safety. And emotional safety is being safe enough for your spouse that allows them to open up, especially when there's people like us, the stonewallers, the one that shut down, the one that act like turtles. And the more Russ would be intense with me, the more I would stay in my turtle shell. And I could stay there a long time. It's so important to create that emotional safety. Excuse me. So when he would create that safety for me, I literally am like a turtle. I'm like coming out of my shell, like, is it safe enough? So emotional safety is very important. It means not having a critical tone. It means not placing blame, but it's more of a curious conversation. It's more of when Russ is asking me, help me understand what happened. Help me understand how my words hurt you. Help me understand what I could have done differently. Now, when we're in this kind of conversation, I can stay in it and not shut down. I'm trying to help give some understanding, some enlightenment to why your husband may be shutting down. And hopefully you can use this as an opportunity to be a student of your husband. And speaking of student of your husband, the ones that like refuse to actually talk no matter how emotionally safe you make it, there's this great study that our counselor told us about, and it's Paul Ekman, and this book is Emotions Revealed. Now, one of my favorite all-time shows was Lie to Me. Do any of you remember that show? Comment below if you love that show. I mean, I loved that show because what I learned from that show, I would see on like TV interviews, and I'm like, he's lying. And months later, it would come out that the person being interviewed was lying. And I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff works. Well, this book is the science behind that show. It even says right here, the science behind the hit series Lie to Me. And what Paul Ekman did was he said, are emotions universal in the world? And they are. So you can actually become a student of your spouse and understand their facial features. And sometimes they're they're so small it's hard to identify. But this book teaches you to be able to understand what mood, what emotion they might be feeling. Because when I brought up to my counselor one time, I said, you know, there's a couple and she's so frustrated with her husband not talking. And my counselor said, oh, he's communicating. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? He goes, he's communicating, he's just not using words. And that's when he led me to this Paul Ekman author who did this big, huge research on emotions being revealed in a person's face. So, absolutely fascinating study. In all fairness, I'm going to share next week from the stonewaller's perspective and what responsibility is on me to not stonewall. So stay tuned for that one. Join us next Wednesday. In the beginning of the video, I shared how you could work with us. So do you want to feel closer and more deeply connected to your spouse? Are you tired of the fights that go nowhere? You can learn a step-by-step process on how to repair after arguments. It is just fascinating and has worked incredibly well for Russ and I. We're happy to teach this to you. If you're interested in working with us, book a call. The link will be in the description below, and let's hop on the phone and see if this program is right for you. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and take a screenshot. Share this out with your friends so we can reach more and more couples. If you're interested in more principles that we've learned from our mistakes, check out this playlist below. These are all the videos that we've done this year, and we're so appreciative of you watching. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.